Hi, my name's Darren. Welcome to my workshop. Take a look at this. This is my chisel collection. And as you can see, I obviously didn't buy them as a set. I've got a couple of really nice Japanese chisels that my wife bought me instead of a wedding ring. Still have the chisels, don't have the wife. Then next across is my old vintage pear tree chisel. Bent, as you can see. I got it all rusted up and banged up and blunt, very, very blunt. But I've sharpened it up and polished it up a bit, and it's got a very nice edge, holds an edge fairly well. And so it's become my go-to chisel for doing all the things you probably shouldn't do with the chisel, and it's handled it well. I'll skip the marples, we'll come back to them, because here, this old Stanley, this is my favourite chisel. Although it's got a crappy plastic handle that people sneer at, and I must admit it doesn't feel that great. It's held an edge absolutely beautifully. This thing just stays sharp. So I have no regrets with this chisel at all, this little Stanley. That's my favourite. And this one over here, which is a Performer brand chisel, believe it or not, never heard of the brand other than the fact that I own one of the chisels, also holds an edge reasonably well, but it's not great. And then we come to the marples, which I bought to fill in the gaps in the sizes that I wanted. And I'll be honest with you, I've never been happy with any of them. Some people swear by marples and they'll all be shouting at me out now going, "What are you talking about? They're great chisels." And that's why I bought myself this box of 4 Narex chisels. They come with nice wooden handles, and those people on YouTube who've already done reviews on them seem to think they're pretty good. They don't measure up to the Sweetheart chisels by Stanley apparently, but coming close. They seem to make a lot of top 5 lists, I've noticed. So over the next couple of weeks I'm going to test them out, and that's what will form this video, and we'll see what we think of the chisels. Now if I flip the box over and we zoom in on the English, maybe we should zoom in on all the languages. So you can see it says down the bottom of the English list there, it says sharpened and ready to use right out of the box. So that is what we are going to check first. Are they truly sharp straight out of the box? Test number 1 is to try the chisel straight out of the box, still with its protective anti-corrosive coating, and see if it cuts. No. Okay. So as expected, they don't cut with the protective coating on them. So straight out of the box, no, but no one expects that. Let's try cleaning some of that coating off. Okay, first impressions as I'm picking up and handling the chisel and cleaning the surface is that it's well made. It feels lovely. It's got a good weight to it. Let me go back and here we go. Let's compare 2 similar items. The old favourite, very, very light, very light. Centre of balance, let's see if we can find the centre of balance on that one. Yeah, centre of balance is just there. Literally just here. Yep, centre of balance on this one, oops, is here. So quite similar, centre of balance. Beautiful shaped handle, look, that just fits my hand really nicely. So a pleasure to hold, especially when you turn them and hold them that way. That just really fits the hand well. The finger tucks nicely around the rear ferrule. The thumb nicely in the front groove there. Beautiful, beautiful to hold. The steel is nice and shiny. It's been well polished up after milling or forging. Hopefully there was both. I think I've got all of the coating off of the chisels now. I wiped them all with turpentine, methylated spirits first, which did nothing, then turpentine, which didn't seem to do much, maybe a little bit. Finally, in a lot of places, I just scraped it off. It was like a mix somewhere between plastic and wax. wax stick. Alright, so now that we've cleaned the plasticky stuff off them, let's try them again and see how we go. Straight out of the box.
No, that one needs to sharpen. Maybe if I cut the other way, let's have a look. No, definitely needs sharpening. Needs sharpening.
Alright, so no, you can't use them straight out of the box. Not as chisels. Other than the fact that it said that on the back of the box, I wouldn't have worried. I wouldn't expect to use a chisel straight out of the box. You expect to take a chisel out of the box and sharpen it. So that's what will happen next.
Nicely. He sharpened so quickly. Alrighty. Looking ready. Finished with that. Take it away. 6,000, so we'll come back to the 6,000. Start with the 1,200.
So now what I'm doing, now that I've sharpened them all, just to stop them from rusting, is I'm going to give them a spray with some camellia oil. Yep, camellia as in the flower. There we go. That stuff there, I doubt you'll get it for $19 anymore. I've had that for, well, I won't say, a long time. Just a little spray of that. Wipe it about. That should be enough to stop it from rusting. So I've sharpened them at 25 degrees, which is the original angle of the chisel anyway, and then done a tiny micro bevel on the edge. Like I say, I've stropped it. So let's see how that compares. Now, yes, this is not end grain yet. We're just going to do some side grain on the corner. But, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that's nice. Alright, let's really give it a hard test now. Let's try to take some of that jagged end grain off that we stuffed up earlier. Oh, look at that. Oh, wow. Oh, this is beautiful. Alright, I'm impressed. What's that? That's not bad, look at that. Here I'm comparing the Narex chisels to my marples in pine, but first in end grain and then in side grain. So I can say, when it comes to pine at least, the blades between the marples and the Narex are very similar. They cut in a very similar way. They hold a very similar edge. So yes, if you've used the marples before and you're wondering what the blades are like on the Narex, they're quite like it. Quite similar indeed. Now the handles, on the other hand, big difference. I much prefer the feel of the Narex to the marples. Okay, so I'm just going to run both of them through a bit of Jarrah as well and just see what I think that feels like and which I prefer. Alright, so marples. Actually, I've just developed a new respect for that. In a bit of Jarrah, that's doing a splendid job. Alright, let's try the Narex doing exactly the same thing. Just run that along. I would say, yes, I would say the Narex is cutting through just a tiny bit easier. On Jarrah, being a very hard wood, the blades are quite similar and perform in quite a similar manner. For the pros and cons, let's start with the price. I paid $80 Australian for this set of Narex chisels, which is a bargain when you consider a set of 4 Stanley Sweethearts would cost you $260, and for a Robert Sorby or Veritas chisel, you couldn't buy a single chisel for $80. You'd be looking at about $150 for a single chisel. So these are a bargain. Unfortunately, I can't compare them to the Marples chisels that I used earlier because they just don't make those chisels anymore, so you can't buy them. Okay, they're easy to sharpen. Didn't take me long to flatten the back at all. And doing the honing and the micro bevel was quite quick as well. They cut well in both hard and soft timber, and they're very comfortable to use. They've got a nice center of balance, and the handles are very comfortable. I much prefer holding a wooden handle to a plastic handle. Okay, moving on to the cons. They come in a cardboard box. Some of the other chisels you buy come with a nice leather roll, or even a hard plastic box. In fact, the next set up that Narex make from this come in a hard plastic box. But let's be honest, who cares? I'm just going to make my own storage for them anyway and put them in with other chisels, so I don't care. It's not a problem. They need regular honing. This is something I'm doing with my existing chisels anyway. When I start a project, I hone the chisel that I'm going to use just very quickly. Just the last 2 grits and a quick rub over the strop, because a nice sharp chisel is much safer and easier to use than a blunt chisel. Blunt chisels are deadly. So in conclusion, what do I think of the Narex chisels? I really like them. They're a pleasure to use, they're comfortable to hold, they sharpen easily. I love them. In comparison to other chisels I've got, as you've noticed throughout the video, I think the blades on the Marples cut in equivalent manner to the Narex. My old Stanley I still think is slightly better in the cutting department, and it certainly holds its edge forever and a day. It's amazing. But the handle just doesn't compete. So with all that said and done, these are now my favourite chisels, and I'll probably see a lot more use than any others. I will use the others. They are still very good chisels, especially the old Stanley. Love it. But these are my new favourites. I hope this video has been of some help. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.